Hello, welcome to the Cunning Plan podcast. I'm here today with Lizzie.
Hello.
This is Lizzie. And Simon.
Hi everyone.
Simon's the new boy.
Indeed.
He has joined us just last week. Simon, how are you finding it so far?
Yeah, fantastic. A lot to learn, but all good.
Very good, very good. So, trial by fire, straight onto the podcast. So what we're doing here today is we thought it'd be fun just to do something a bit different today, and that was to run through the hot topic, which is John Lewis's latest advert. It came out last week, interrupted the Bake Off. Did you watch it live, Lizzie?
I did, yes. I did watch it live. I was impressed. Yeah, bringing a few tears to the eyes. But we've had a week to digest it, so we've all been exchanging opinions on it and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Did you see it live, Simon?
I didn't see it live, no, actually. I saw it, I think it was on YouTube. I think probably the day it was released. So, but I thought, a bit like Lizzie said, I thought it was really quite impressive. I thought, it was a really sort of clever idea, as John Lewis is quite famous for. I think it does tug at the heartstrings, and it is just everybody can resonate with going to watch children's plays, and they're usually very disappointing and
certainly not either. My children,
a little bit painful to watch. But I think that sort of idea where somebody goes all out and does something really good just sort of shows that they're going the extra effort, which I think is part of the message that they're trying to get across in terms of service.
Yeah, so if anyone hasn't seen it, to sum it up, basically, a mulleted drama teacher kidnaps a load of children and forces them to almost certainly miss a lot of school to practice for an enormously over-elaborate sort of cut price "We Will Rock You."
Over the top, really.
And yeah, it's pretty amazing. It obviously looks. You can see the budget there on the screen. It looks pretty serious.
That's Bohemian Rhapsody, doesn't it, by Queen?
Yeah.
And it features a lot of astronauts and aliens as well. So
yeah, it's very good. Anyway, go and watch it
Yeah.
because that's quite key to our discussion today. So yeah, your initial thoughts, Lizzie. What did you think when you first saw it? What were your takeaways from watching that ad?
Well, I didn't have a clue that it was on John Lewis, which I think was kind of a good thing, because at the end you're sort of drawn in, and then at the end you're like, oh right, it's John Lewis advert, that's quite cool.
That's sort of their like raison d'etre, I suppose.
Yeah.
Isn't it? You don't, and aside from the fact you're watching a really glossy ad, which means it could easily be a John Lewis one.
Yeah.
You don't always know at the start this is.
Yeah, and it's like when it comes together at the end with the slogan, which is when you're part of it, you put your heart in it, I think. So when you're already aware of the partner scheme and everything, I think that really, you think that is quite clever. I did think it was quite Christmassy, so I thought, have they released this a bit too early? Is this the Christmas advert?
Yeah.
That seemed to be a common thought on Twitter, didn't it? A lot of like, what's going on? This is really early. Because I think that, you do think that, don't you? Like Christmas play, you think of that nativity. I know it's not a nativity, but you do, like, that's a time when you go and watch your kids play.
Exactly,
Yeah, but overall I thought it was great. I really liked that it wasn't relevant to John Lewis, apart from sort of loosely linking it to the strapline and their idea of partners and everything. So overall I was really impressed by it.
Cool. Sorry.
Yeah, and I thought the ad was brilliant. An ex-colleague of mine sort of introduced it, so I watched the video and I thought this is really good, but I didn't really understand the "we are partners" bit at the end. It took a bit of looking into it to understand what they were talking about in terms of referring to the staff as partners. That wasn't very obvious to me at the beginning, so I think it's probably lost a little bit on consumers, that message from the beginning. So I do think they're trying to get across the idea that they have great customer service and they're improving the customer service and that sort of thing, but I think that was just a little bit lost on me.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally nothing in that ad that talks about customer service or anything like that. No. It really is. They really are honing in on the partnership side of things.
Yeah,
and that's kind of, in all the interviews and things that came out afterwards, that became pretty clear that that's what this was about. It's about rebranding them as John Lewis and Partners and Waitrose and Partners.
Absolutely,
and that's the purpose of the exercise here.
Yeah, and I think it does. Obviously, it is part of like the customer service, and they're trying to get that across. But you also think, is this like an internal marketing plan, or is this like for the customers?
Really expensive internal marketing.
What's really going on? But no, like overall, I did think it was great. But I think if I hadn't have known about the partner scheme prior to watching the advert, I probably would have been a bit confused with it overall, like you were saying.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably what they're trying to get across, and they're trying to enhance the fact that they are partners and that their employees are valued.
Yeah, I think if you watch that as an employee or as a partner, not an employee, I think you'd feel quite proud of that. Like you'd feel quite smug and this is my company. I'm part of this. And all that.
Look what we've done, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Look at our hard work coming to fruition, isn't it?
So I think that's a good. Yeah, that's definitely something that's good about it.
Yeah.
And so maybe it will have that knock-on effect to people who think about getting a job there, or prospective employees, something like that. That they'll feel positive about the brand.
Absolutely, yeah.
What about you, Sam? Once you'd watched it, you'd digested it, understood that it was, that's what it was really all about. It was about this rebrand and everything like that. What were your takeaways after that? Like, what did you think about after you'd finished?
Well, I mean, it was interesting because it's all about sort of the staff being partners, and after looking into it afterwards, there's quite a few things that said that they actually briefed all the partners, all the staff before the video was launched. But several people have asked people in stores sort of after the video, and they're a bit like, I didn't know about it. I still have a vague understanding of what this whole partnership thing means. So it hasn't really filtered down to the sort of lower level staff very well.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to bear in mind that there are obviously very senior people in the business, but then, my brother works at Waitrose. He was in charge of the fish. He was very good at filleting a fish, and he was a partner. I don't think he doesn't see any money now. He's since moved on. So it's kind of, for a lot of those people, they're just you're just working in the shop, aren't you?
I think it definitely would give you a sense of like you feel valued and proud to work for that company, and obviously they do value their employees. But it also just makes me think, is it a little bit sort of exaggerating the fact that, maybe they get a Christmas bonus and that's great, but are they sort of playing on it a little bit, and do they actually treat them that amazingly? And,
Well, it's coming at a time where there's a lot of job cuts, and, they've a lot of falling profits in the businesses as well. Retailers are all struggling, aren't they? So
I think that is definitely what they're trying to, that's what they're trying to do, and it's a really sensible thing to try and do, is where we've got soulless online retailers, you've got people going after value, people going after scale, they're trying to go after touchy-feely, nice, friendly. You've got like House of Frasers in trouble and places like that. So John Lewis needs to do something to try and get people to,
Absolutely. It's almost like they've researched into why people visit John Lewis and Waitrose, and it's all about customer service and slightly more affluent customers. So I think they've looked at that and thought, well, we've got to make sure we are absolutely stellar on that. We are top notch above everybody else. That's our differentiation. So let's make sure we do that extremely well. And I think that's what they're trying to communicate with this as well. Yeah,
but I think the problem with that is, as you alluded to earlier, they've let a lot of people go in the last year, and they've their profits are not great. I read something like 1,800 job cuts in the last year.
That's 300 more to go again later this year as well.
So if let's say one of your mates has just been let go from your local John Lewis or Waitrose, and you watch that ad, which almost certainly cost several £1 million to make, you might be thinking, you might not feel quite so much a part of it. You might feel a bit annoyed.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because they've sort of launched this hashtag We Are Partners as well, and if you actually look into that hashtag, some of it is staff saying, we're partners, and it's sort of videos of how sort of the staff are partners, but then there's loads of hashtags where people are just like, look at this horrendous letter I got from Waitrose, their customer services, we are partners, and people really slating it, and it's almost 50-50 between good and really negative. So that's an interesting sort of, whether or not that's a good thing, I'm not quite sure.
I think it's one of those things where, like a lot of these ads, I think you watch it the first time and you are struck by how slick it is. I mean, it's super slick, isn't it? You look at it and think, that is absolutely spot on. It's really clever. It's really well produced. It's it's really, really nice. Then you start thinking about it a bit more, and you do start perhaps over-analysing it and start thinking about it. You think, well, it's super slick, but isn't the whole point that this is all people who are working together? So actually, wouldn't it have been better if it was a bit less slick? If it was a little bit more spit and sawdust? It was a bit more like a real, a real school play. Is more, people do feel more a part of it because the parents made the cargoes and the kids all got involved and all this kind of stuff. So in that respect, I don't know, it does feel a little bit hollow in some respects. Very glossy, very shiny, designed to make you look at it and go, oh wow, that's wonderful, and they could have
Yeah, and also I read that they're actually equipping their employees with iPhones, and it mentioned that they're trying to get them more involved with the social media marketing. So I'll be interested to see what does come out of that, because if that's true, I'll be intrigued to see what sort of posts the employees will be doing. I'm sure it won't be coming direct from their iPhones live, because we'd have some interesting stuff come from that, I'm sure. But I think that's quite an innovative idea, and I've not heard of that before. So yeah, I'll be intrigued to see where that goes.
And it's interesting with the Waitrose aspect that they're sort of having people as almost like food ambassadors, healthy eating recipes. So consumers can go to them and say, oh, I'm looking for this kind of thing, and they can say, well, you can do this and you can make this recipe if you do that. And it's sort of like educating the staff a little bit better, so that they can sort of help the consumers into more of a better sort of experience in stores. So, and I think John Lewis are doing the same with sort of like front of house ambassadors and all this sort of thing. So
do you think there's maybe more to it? Like, we're sort of focusing on this very glossy ad and the kind of initial, we're partners and this is the focus on it, but it sounds like they're doing a lot of behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, from looking at John Lewis, they have sort of always had great customer service, but I think over the last few years, as they've tried to sort of get more of a value proposition, they have slightly cut corners here and there, and I think service has sort of gone downhill from that. There's people saying, oh, so John Lewis customer service isn't what it used to be, managers are rude, all this sort of stuff. So I think that now, because of their falling profits and everything else, I think let's make sure we really improve our customer service back to where it was, or if not better, so that people come back to us and come back to John Lewis is the reason why they love being there. I
think also it's good that it's clear and a consistent message of the partners, but also you just sort of like, what's the depth to it, For a consumer who doesn't know anything about partners, like that wouldn't really mean much to them at all. Like they don't show what's on offer, and they don't show other schemes that are going on. Maybe like further down the line, they'll release more advertisements of different schemes and loyalty systems and everything you're talking about. But I think from face value, it's probably not as self-explanatory as it would be to some people.
Yeah, I think also you don't see this very often. You don't often see an advert which is kind of, it's really talking about a benefit that their staff has. It's not really a benefit to me as a consumer. No. So when in Asda they talk about the customer service and how we're here to help you. Yeah. They don't talk about what the great training is that member of staff got in order to be able to do that. Whereas that is very much talking about, I know they're saying that if when you're a part of it, you're more engaged, and obviously therefore you're more likely to work harder, or you to do more. But that doesn't directly relate to necessarily to me. It doesn't necessarily say you get a better experience by coming to John Lewis because of because everyone is in this together.
And maybe that is the mindset. Maybe the mindset is just to cover up all the sort of bonus structures diminishing and the job losses. Maybe it is to sort of regain their image as we're not cutting all these jobs and everything else, so we are the great sort of service providers and everything else. Yeah, so it could be.
Well, it's definitely that is that John Lewis, that was their kind of their thing, wasn't it? They're never knowingly undersold.
Yeah, absolutely.
The kind of absolutely, you can go there, you'll be able to buy something, it's of a certain quality.
Yeah.
You'll get a good selection, you'll get good service and decent, good advice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think maybe they have drifted away from that in that sort of attempt to try and compete with, all the other people doing the same thing, like Debenhams or places like that. And I guess they've kind of lost a bit of their point of difference. So maybe that is maybe that's part of it. Maybe make me feel more like. If I picture all the people that will lose their jobs if I just buy everything off Amazon, maybe I'm more likely to go to that shop and buy something rather than buying it online.
They are very much sort of talking about having less comparative products, so that they are trying to sort of list more unique products that Amazon won't have and stuff like that, so that people can't price compare and you can only get it from John Lewis. So it does give you a bit of a unique offering opposed to sort of the behemoth that is Amazon.
Yeah, I think it's interesting as well. That they've decided to brand Waitrose and John Lewis exactly the same, because it almost puts Waitrose in John Lewis's shadow a little bit. And I know that they sell different products, but I think it's, I don't know whether it's a positive or a negative that they've branded Waitrose exactly the same as John Lewis. I guess it keeps the whole company consistent, but I think when you think of this rebrand, it's supposed to be both of them, but everyone very much focuses on John Lewis. In a way that sort of puts Waitrose in the shadow.
They have kept them very separate, haven't they? And it's only just recently, before this happened, just started to come as that, you could go and pick up your John Lewis parcel and Waitrose and all that sort of thing, and it wasn't very consumer clear at all that they were sort of owned by the same people, as it were. So I think it's probably a strength over anything else, but time will tell.
So, closing thoughts, I suppose, on that. Then, what do you think that means for Christmas? So, this is what they're known for. Their Christmas.
Elton John, I believe, isn't it?
Was that the?
I believe so. I believe Elton John is on the cards for the Christmas.
They're going to need to top it somehow because this is.
Do you think they double down on the partner thing? Do you think they'll go down that route again, or do you think they'll just go to the usual kind of try and make you cry? Christmas message.
I think maybe they'll slip it in there somewhere. I reckon they'll sort of combine the two together. But it's going to be interesting to see the Christmas advert after this. Wait for the next review. Christmas advert.
They've got to go. They've got a lot to do to top that, I think.
Definitely. Christmas adverts, everybody sort of excited for them and waits for them, don't they? So they really have to sort of deliver on them, otherwise it's seen as a big failure, I think.
Everybody apart from that is the man called John Lewis on Twitter who gets bombarded every year. Like I read a thing about this poor man who all year round he's fine, just carries on going about his business, but at Christmas time he's just like, stop telling me about this advert, stop tweeting at me, it's not me, I didn't do it, it's not my advert.
You should take credit for it, thank you very much.
It's poor guy called John. So interesting. Well I thought it was a really, really interesting thing. I think a lot of people will just watch it and enjoy it and won't think about it too much like we're doing today. So I think their takeaway then will be, isn't John Lewis nice? Isn't Waitrose nice? That's such a cute advert. Look at those cute kids, aren't they lovely? It's really well done, it looks amazing. No, they don't think about how much money was spent on that. And so I think the takeaway from that then is quite a positive one.
You can look into the nitty-gritties of it and look at the profit and how many cuts there are. But I think overall it's definitely a positive, and I think they have executed it well. Because if they need to make job losses, they need to make job losses. But if they need to sort of get their image more improved in the public eye, then they needed to do something. And I think this is a good thing that they've done. So I think it. Well, I mean, time will tell if it works or not, but I think it's a positive.
I think my only thought would be that perhaps, like a lot of things you buy from John Lewis, they could probably have spent a little bit less money and got something a bit better.
I would definitely agree with that.
Okay. Well, again, we'll see. We'll see what happens next for John Lewis. Thank you for tuning in, or for watching, or for listening, or however you have consumed us today. We'll be back next time with another. We're going to meet Simon. We haven't done that yet, so that's a fun thing to do. We're going to sit down and learn a bit more about Simon.
Absolutely.
What his hopes and dreams, that sort of thing. I don't know what else we'll talk about, but probably something. It'll be interesting anyway. That's for absolute certain. So thank you very much. Thank you both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.